The college football playoff made a pretty shocking change yesterday. It's something that's been discussed in previous months, but I didn't think we'd get it this season, especially just out of the blue like this. But it's a change that I think really makes the college football playoff that much better. But before we dive into what exactly the change is, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you're watching this video, odds are you love college football, and odds are you aren't subscribed to my channel. So make sure to subscribe to one of the best college football communities here on YouTube. In 2025, the college football playoff is still going to feature 12 teams, but the top 4 seeds aren't going to be automatic bids that went to the highest ranked conference champions like they did this past season. Instead, conference commissioners voted to go to a straight seeding format with 5 spots still reserved for conference champions in 2025. So yeah, if you win your conference championship, you still get an automatic spot in the college football playoff. You're just not going to be a team like Arizona State where you're ranked number 11 or number 12 or wherever they were ranked, and all of a sudden now you're the number 4 ranked team in the college football playoff. Like Boise State as well, they won their conference and they were ranked number 3 in the quarterfinals. Now, if you take a look back as to how the bracket looked last year, you had Oregon at number 1, Georgia at number 2, and you had Mountain West champion Boise State at number 3, and Big 12 champion Arizona State at number 4. You then had Texas ranked number 5, Penn State ranked number 6, Notre Dame ranked number 7, Ohio State ranked number 8, Tennessee ranked number 9, Indiana ranked number 10, SMU ranked number 11, and Clemson was ranked number 12. Now, how would the format look if we had this system last year? Well, there are actually some pretty big changes. Oregon and Georgia, they still get the number 1 and the number 2 seeds, but Texas comes in ranked number 3, and Penn State comes in ranked number 4. All of a sudden now, all the first round matchups are completely different. Ohio State still has a home game, but now they're playing Arizona State. Instead of going on the road, Tennessee would now host a playoff game against SMU. Notre Dame would still host a playoff game, and they would get Clemson. Finally, instead of going on the road, Indiana would have hosted Boise State. So as you can see, we still have all the same teams involved, but a lot of these matchups would have been entirely different, and who knows how the 12-team playoff sorts itself out based on these matchups and based on these teams having home games instead of going on the road. Now, sure, we could still probably end up with Notre Dame taking on Ohio State, but if I were to guess, based on how this format looks, I don't think we're getting Notre Dame Ohio State in the national championship game. So what are my thoughts on this change? I actually really like it. Now, I know Arizona State actually benefited from this last season, so as an Arizona State fan, you probably wouldn't think I'd be in favor, but even though my Sun Devils got a first round bye, even though they were that close to advancing to the semifinals because of this, I just didn't think it was fair to reward both Arizona State and Boise State a first round bye because they won their conference championship. I thought it was crazy that Arizona State and Boise State had first round byes over teams like Ohio State, Texas, and Penn State. Now, I see why they did it. They wanted to make winning your conference championship that much more important, but I still think winning your conference championship is already pretty important because it guarantees you a spot in the college football playoff. I don't think giving them a first round bye adds any level of extra importance. Now, as we saw, Boise State, they couldn't really hang with Penn State in their game. Arizona State, it was looking ugly at first, but they went toe-to-toe with Texas. They should have won that game. The referee screwed them. I'm still very salty about it 5 months later, but we can all agree Arizona State got screwed. They should have been playing Ohio State in the semifinal, but that's neither here nor there. They proved that they were still competitive enough to get that first round bye. But I still think the 4 teams that get that first round bye, those should be the 4 best teams based on what the committee thinks. Now, obviously, a lot of people don't share those same thoughts. Jeremiah Dickey, the director of athletics for Boise State, he came out and tweeted this yesterday. College football playoff, please call it the Boise State policy. Legacy is important, would make us feel better. When the system is created to keep you down, you fight like hell to break it. Nothing to lose, always what's next. Believe in epic, 1-0. Sure, I could kind of see why it's being called the Boise State rule. Now, I don't think when the college football playoff was expanding to 12 teams and the top 4 conference champions got a bye, many people were expecting a Mountain West team to be one of those 4 teams, let alone be the 3rd team that got in there. Everyone just assumed it would be the Power 4, and this wouldn't really matter at all. Now, I don't think they're making this change because of Boise State necessarily. I do think it's because they saw these 2 teams get a first round bye, whereas some of the really good teams that should have been given that bye they didn't get the opportunity. So I can see why Boise State fans and maybe other college football fans, they might be disappointed. They might think this is not fair, but overall, I think this is what's best for college football. I think if you have the 4 best teams get a bye, it's going to make the overall bracket that much better. Now, are we still going to have blowouts in the first round? Most likely. That's just what happens in every sport out there. But I do think it's going to make the games just a little bit more competitive, because now you're not going to have teams that should have been ranked number 2, 3, or 4. You're going to have them on a bye. You're not going to have them playing in the first round, and they're not going to be blowing these teams out of the water. Again, it's a slight change, but it does impact things, and I think this is the best overall solution for the college football product. Now, things are going to get really interesting, because if the college football playoff expands moving forward, I think they're going to expand to 16 teams next season. I don't think we're going to have these first round byes anymore. I mean, if there's 16 teams, there's going to be a Sweet 16 format. You're not going to have teams that are going to be given a chance to get a first round bye. So if they do expand to 16 teams, again, that's just my guess, then we're probably not going to see this format moving forward. This is just going to be for 2025. So if this is just going to be for one more season, again, I have no issue with it. Let the 4 best teams in college football get a first round bye. You're still rewarding teams for winning their conference championship. Let's not forget about that. If you win your conference championship, you still have incentive and you reach the college football playoff. But I do think it was crazy that Arizona State and Boise State, 2 teams that weren't ranked even inside the top 8, they got first round byes over the teams that were ranked 3 and 4 in the actual college football playoff rankings. So that's probably the only change we're going to be getting for the college football playoff this season. Like I mentioned, it's going to be 12 teams again, but it looks like in 2026, it's either going to jump up to 14 teams or what I personally think 16 teams. Because if you're going to move up, if you're going to add a couple of teams, you might as well add a couple of extra teams, because it's going to make that much more sense. I personally think moving up to 14 would be dumb. Either keep it at 12 because I like this format, or just make the jump to 16 where more teams get an opportunity at reaching the college football playoff, which is going to give us much more exciting college football games, especially towards the end of the season. Now, if we would have had these matchups, again, these are all just hypotheticals, these are how I think the games would have gone. Notre Dame versus Clemson, I think Notre Dame wins, and we get a Penn State Notre Dame matchup, a game that we got this past year. Instead, this is going to be in the quarterfinals as opposed to the semifinal. You have Indiana and Boise State. Honestly, I'm not sure who wins that game. I would make that a toss-up, but whoever wins, they're taking on Oregon, and I definitely think Oregon is beating whoever that is. And although I think Arizona State would have given Ohio State a run for their money, Ohio State probably wins. They play Texas, another matchup we got in the playoff this past year. Instead of being in the semifinals, though, once again, this is in the quarterfinal. Then you have Tennessee taking on SMU. That one, I do think Tennessee gets the edge because they are playing this game at home. They take on number 2 Georgia, and in this scenario, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee somehow found a way to beat Georgia, and all of a sudden now Tennessee, although they were eliminated in the first round this past year, they might end up in the semifinals. I mean, there's a chance your semifinal is Tennessee and Ohio State. In that scenario, Ohio State definitely beats Tennessee. They're going to the championship regardless, but on the other side of the bracket, I think that's where things get really interesting. If Oregon plays either Penn State or Notre Dame, I think Oregon potentially takes down either team, and all of a sudden now Oregon, they're taking on Ohio State into the national championship, and who knows, maybe in this scenario, Oregon, who was the number 1 ranked team in college football entering the college football playoff, they might have ended up as your national champion. Again, tough to say with all these hypotheticals, but based on these matchups, the path for Oregon would have been 100% easier than the path they got this past season by playing the eventual national champion in Ohio State in their first playoff game. Because I think we all can agree, Oregon got the absolute shaft by their playoff matchup. So what are your thoughts on this rule change? Do you think it's fair that now the top 4 ranked teams are going to get a first round bye? Or did you like the way it was currently set up where the 4 highest ranked conference champions, they got a first round bye, and if you were the number 3 ranked team, sorry, you're going to slide down to number 5 and you have to play 1 extra playoff game? Whatever your thoughts are on this change to the college football playoff, and whatever your thoughts are on potential changes to the college football playoff moving forward, let me know those thoughts in the comment section down below. Before you guys leave, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. I'm going to be posting college football videos leading up to the college football season, a lot of great content coming, so if you're a college football fan, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. Also, don't forget to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that confusing YouTube algorithm, it helps share this video and my channel with more college football fans, and it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you all in my next video.